Hello everyone, my name is Jet Roland Ordilera, and today I will be sharing to you my learnings on the topic how to rig a pilot ladder. So in this video, I will be answering the following questions. What is a pilot ladder and what is its purpose? How to rig a pilot ladder and what safety measures to be using? In what situation is there a need to rig a pilot ladder? And lastly, how important is the pilot ladder? To start off, let me define first the word pilot ladder and let us know first its purpose. So, the pilot ladder is a special type of rope ladder used on board ships for embarkation and disembarkations of maritime pilots. It is one of very first things which will give an impression to the pilot about the crew and the master on board, an extremely important thing to consider for the ship's crew. So now that we've defined and understood the purpose of a pilot ladder, we'll proceed to the safety measures before rigging the pilot ladder. Before we start rigging the pilot ladder, we must first put on our protective personal equipment. That includes the coverall, the hard hat or the hard helmet, gloves, and the boots, and most especially our life jacket, just in case of emergency like man overboard. Next is to secure our safety harness to prevent from falling overboard. Now let us proceed to the rigging of a pilot ladder. In rigging of a pilot ladder, there are some pointers that we should always keep in mind. First is the step of the pilot ladder are generally made of hardwood and should be made in one piece, free of knots uh, and free of any irregularities. It should be free from any sharp edges. Second is the steps should be horizontal and should rest firmly against the ship's side. Next is the the last four steps of the pilot ladder should be made of rubber as they are vulnerable to failure on being squeezed between the ship's side and the pilot bolt. The fifth step from the bottom must be a spreader. The spreader prevents the pilot ladder from twisting. It should be a minimum of 180 centimeters long. Maximum 9 steps are allowed between two spreaders. The spreader should not be lush between the steps. The surface of the steps must provide a safe and slip-resistant foothold. Use of ordinary paints resulting in slippery surfaces should be prohibited. Next is two continuous side rope of a minimum of 18 millimeters in diameter should run on either side of the ladder. These are Manila ropes. The gap between the side ropes should not be less than 40 centimeters. The steps should be 115 millimeters wide and 25 millimeters in depth. The steps are equally spaced and the distance between each step should be more than 35 centimeters and or less than 31 centimeters. The pilot ladder should be permanently marked at regular intervals so that it can be rigged to the required height without any difficulties. Two-man ropes should be kept at hand ready for immediate use. The diameter of the two-man ropes should not be less than 28 millimeters. It is used as a request at the request of the pilots. The distance between the sea level and the lower end of the pilot ladder depends on the side of the pilot boat being used. This is decided by the pilot. The officer in charge should confirm beforehand rigging the pilot ladder. In no case shall the lower end of the pilot ladder become awash in the water. The head of the pilot ladder should be rigidly secured to the deck. Adequate handholds should be provided to ensure a safe and convenient passage from the head of the ladder to the ship's deck. These handholds should be a minimum of 70 centimeters and a maximum of 80 centimeters apart. Take note that the pilot ladder should only be used as when a maritime pilot is embarking or disembarking. Another situation is when there is an accident and the pilot has fallen overboard. The pilot ladder is very important for both the safety of the ship as well as the crew members of the ship, because without a pilot, the ship might encounter an accident, especially if the captain of the ship is totally unfamiliar with the waters in a certain area. So that is all for this video. For today's video, I hope you learned a lot from today's topic and learnings. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching.